Hey guys, I'm Layla. Welcome to raidlore Stories. Today's lore story is going to be for Brakus the Shifter. I still think he's probably one of the coolest looking champs in this game. I absolutely just love the design they did with him. Now, I initially shared his lore story way back with his first original story, and since then, Raid has changed it, so let's see how it is. We're going to read it together. One of the most persistent misconceptions about skinwalkers is that they transform back and forth, sometimes appearing in human form to live among human communities, and only assuming the appearance of a hybrid beast under certain conditions. One archetypal myth says that a skinwalker will be compelled to shift with the rise of a full moon. Other legends describe totems or rituals that can change them back and forth. Historically, many people of Frostheim revered beast shifters as divinely blessed and called them forth for war. These berserkers were said to don enchanted cloaks, transformed into bears, wolves, and other beasts. Brakus, a young lad in the kingdom of Frostheim, grew up enamored with these tales. A few elements of the Lemayan church that operate in Frostheim still take a more accepting stance on skinwalkers due to their history. There were remote lodges where Brakus went first to shake his burning curiosity about the berserkers of old, but he was told that the age of berserkers was past, and the archaic rituals used to engender their unique powers were no longer practiced, most knowledge of their detail lost in the Red Crusade. The priests encouraged him to live by the example of his heroes of old, but not in such a liberal way, and they firmly told him to trifle not with skinwalkers. The faith may respect them and hope to guide them on the right path, but each and every one of them was nonetheless a grave potential danger, and it is something Frostheimers, neither the nor of old, would agree on. Brakus refused to accept this answer. He was absolutely convinced the berserkers of old were true shifters who retained their noble souls, and equally convinced that their glory days could come again in the present age. Abandoning theology, he turned to other sources of knowledge, folklore and rumors, ancient ballads and cycles of legends, crumbling texts and the mutterings of decrepit elders. No source was too obscure or incredible for Brakus to pursue. Abandoning all else, he traveled all over Anhalt, chasing one lead after another until, at last, he located a dark elf hermit in the depths of Durham Forest, who claimed to be the keeper of an ancient spirit wolf. The hermit, Cataract, told Brakus that the creature had been his familiar, but now had gone rampant and could not be tamed or calmed again. Cataract claimed that the wolf was descended from the very wolves of the old Nor created berserkers from, bearing a still pure magical bloodline. He asked Brakus to kill the spirit wolf, and this, he assured the headstrong Frostheimer, would make Brakus like unto a pure and noble shifter of old. Brakus did not hesitate a moment, but girded himself and set forth to find his prey. Thinking himself guided by destiny to bring new honor and glory to his ancestors, he used the keen senses and instincts that a lifetime of searching had built on him, and soon found the creature's den. He struck in the light of a full moon, and took the massive and strange lament creature by surprise, and though it fought back, it did not recover from Brakus' first savage blow. Brakus stood over the bloodied form of the shining spirit wolf, and with one killing stroke of his axe, his dream began to come true. But, in ways he had never anticipated, it became a struggle and a nightmare. As the hermit had promised, the wolf triggered the skinwalker curse in Brakus as if it had been born and bred for it. But if that wolf's revenant spirit was meant to be somehow pure, it was yet impure enough to become that of the naive young Brakus. He expected a shower of glory. Instead, his soul was assaulted and he was challenged to an inner battle more intense by far than any his body had ever known. That wolf had centuries of hunger in its cursed being, and Brakus felt his every memory and aspect being torn apart as if by 1,000 jaws. Brakus the Shifter was born, and a cruel affront to Teleria created, a tragic beast that was the exception to prove a skinwalker rule. Brakus does shift, for the briefest of moments, on nights that are thick with cloud or storm-racked. Naked, cold, afraid, he feels his humanity reform for just a moment and curses his old self, his hubris, for just long enough to remember his endless misery. Then, once more, the wolves of madness are upon him, and this brief moment of weakness ends, and Brakus the Shifter becomes once again a beast of terror and legendary violence. Wow, okay. Now, this story kind of isn't too far off from the original. The original Brakus was a warrior that dreamed of glory. He dreamed of being a legend. He wanted power. There was a lot that he wanted. Man, thank you so much for the follow. And so he ends up fighting this hermit who basically... The hermit basically takes out his heart and turns him into Brakus. So this one I find is really interesting because in this story, the hermit sends him to go kill the wolf, and then he ends up taking on the curse that way. So they kind kind of kept it very similar. But guys, drop me a comment down below what you think for the lore story of Brakus. I thought this one was very fitting for him. And thank you so much for watching.